Identity, once built, demands constant renewal. In the first chapter of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, Peter Parker assembled a self from the forces that shaped him. The gaze of others, the weight of comparison, the figures he looked toward, and the role he chose to inhabit. By the end of that film, the mask had become his mirror, a reflection of everything he believed a good man should be. But belief is not permanent. It requires nourishment, recognition, love, purpose, and when those begin to withdraw, the reflection begins to distort. Spider-Man 2 asks the question that follows every act of self-creation. What happens when the person you've become no longer recognizes himself? If the first film was about the creation of identity, the second is about its disintegration. Spider-Man 2 begins where the mask has already defined Peter Parker, yet the life behind it has begun to collapse. Identity, as the film suggests, is never static. It is a continuous negotiation between how we see ourselves and how the world reflects us back. Where that reflection turns sour, the self begins to fracture. Peter's struggle is no longer about responsibility. It is about recognition. Recognition about whether he still believes in the person he has become.
All the things you've been thinking about, Peter, make me sad.
Can't you understand? I'm in love with Mary Jane.
Peter, all the times we've talked of honesty, fairness, justice, all of those times I counted on you to have the courage to take those dreams out into the world.
I can't live your dreams anymore. I want a life of my own.
You've been given a gift, Peter. With great power comes great responsibility.
No, Uncle Ben. I'm just Peter Parker. I'm Spider-Man. No more.
The first tension arises from perception, the gaze of others. Peter's heroism has become invisible, even resented.
Spider-Man won't let me take any more pictures. You've turned the whole city against him.
A fact I'm very proud of.
Spider-Man, once a symbol of wonder, is now tabloid fodder, dismissed by the city he protects. His landlord demands rent he cannot pay.
Rent!
His professors, especially Dr. Connors, lose patience.
I'm trying. I want to be here.
Then be here.
His aunt faces eviction, and the woman he loves slips further away.
He's nothing to me but an empty sea.
Every act of goodness seems to return to him in bitterness. The film's New York is no longer the city of possibility. It is a mirror of exhaustion, showing Peter everything he fails to sustain. For the first time, his sense of worth is not replenished by gratitude or love, but eroded by silence and misunderstanding. Mary Jane, meanwhile, appears to flourish. Her face is on billboards. Her name lights up theatre marquees. The aspired self she once imagined has materialized. Yet, beneath the surface of success, there lingers an ache of incompletion. She has realized a dream, but it exists without the person who once made that dream meaningful. Her independence, though earned, becomes a different kind of isolation. The irony is that both she and Peter have achieved what they once longed for, only to find themselves estranged from the version of themselves they hoped to become. The second tension emerges from reflection, how others define who we are. Spider-Man 2 turns the mirror outward. Peter's identity, once firm, begins to depend on how others see him. When Mary Jane tells him she no longer recognizes the man she knew, her words cut deeper than any physical blow. Her disappointment becomes his reflection, one of inadequacy, guilt, and even self-doubt. Even Harry, his only friend and basically the last remnant of his own life, turns on him, consumed by anger and betrayal. It is in this isolation that Peter's powers begin to fail, a physical manifestation of his crumbling self-concept. His strength disappears not because his body weakens, but because his belief in himself does.
Maybe you're not supposed to be Spider-Man climbing those walls. That's why you keep falling. You always have a choice, Peter.
I have a choice.
Without affirmation, the very idea of Spider-Man loses coherence.
No more.
The third tension comes from withdrawal, the illusion of peace without purpose. When Peter finally abandons the mask, the world around him seems to bloom again. His grades improve.
Excellent work today, Parker. Keep it up.
His relationships stabilize.
You are different.
And for the first time in years, he sleeps without anxiety. The montage of him walking through the city, smiling, is both liberating and melancholic. The life he wanted is finally his, yet it feels borrowed. In Shedding Spider-Man, Peter regains the rhythm of ordinary existence, but loses the moral gravity that once anchored him. He believes he's happier, but it is a happiness built on avoidance. Raimi captures this paradox beautifully. Peter's powers vanish the moment he stops believing he has something to give. Without responsibility, his aspired self dissolves, and what remains is comfort without fulfillment. The final tension and the film's resolution arrives through redefinition. When Peter chooses to return as Spider-Man, it is not out of guilt or duty, but clarity. He acts not because he must, but because he wants to. The rescue of the train becomes the moment his fragmented identity recomposes. Stripped of his mask, bloodied and unguarded, Peter is finally seen, not as a myth, but as a man.
He's just a kid.
The passengers, in awe of his vulnerability, lift him up and promise to protect his secret.
It's all right.
In their eyes, he finds the reflection that restores his faith in himself.
We found something.
For the first time, his sense of worth is affirmed by honesty rather than performance. Even his greatest failure, the fall of Dr. Octavius, becomes a moment of redemption.
Sometimes, to do what's right, we have to be steady and give up the thing we want the most. Even our dreams.
By appealing to the humanity still buried within his mentor, Peter reclaims the part of himself that once believed compassion could save the corrupted. He saves Octavius not with power, but with understanding. And when Mary Jane finally chooses him, it is not as the girl who needs saving, but as the girl who chooses to share the burden of his truth. Her final words: close the circle.
Isn't it about time somebody saved your life?
Love becomes mutual, and recognition becomes shared. In the end, Spider-Man 2 teaches that identity is not a solitary act of invention, but a mirror held by others. We are shaped by the way we are seen, yet transformed by how we choose to see ourselves through that reflection. Peter Parker's journey in this film is one of painful reconstruction, losing everything that once defined him in order to rediscover the self that cannot be taken away. The reflection hurts, but it heals too. To become whole again, Peter must look directly into the mirror and accept not the hero, but the man beneath it. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Please consider leaving a like if you enjoyed it, and share it with anyone else you think would enjoy it as well. Start a conversation by sharing your thoughts in the comment section below, and subscribe if you're interested in watching more videos like this. Once again, thank you so much for watching.